Pandemonium, and we got Rob with us today as always. Uh, how is everybody doing? Give me just a second. I think something happened with our audio for Discord. Give me 1 second. All right, Rob, say something else for me. Ah, darn it! And of course, that was not what we needed, because it wouldn't be us if it didn't act up. Mm-hmm.
But Sega's going in the right direction with Sonic 2D wise. Um, Final Fantasy 16 is almost at a 9. I gotta see how the ending is, but it's almost at a 9 for me, honestly.
Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah, I'm giving it's almost at a 9. I'll say it's at a solid 8. I gotta
Wow.
see how it ends.
Okay. Okay.
I
Okay.
enjoy it. I know a lot of people didn't like it. I kind of enjoy it. It was different. And I think if you're like if I wasn't used to playing like Zelda or Kingdom Hearts, I think I would have hated 16. But if you're
I'm not
used
gonna
to
lie, I
action
forgot which
RPG,
one that one was. Is that the? That's not the new one, is it?
yeah, 16 is the newest
The
one.
newest one. Okay, okay, okay. I heard it was good though. I've heard it was story wise, it was decently done.
Oh yeah, like Lord, like a lot of the way to do the lore and everything. Like you forget stuff. There's ways to go back and
Uh huh.
figure out the lore, and it's really like if you're a lore person, you're gonna like it.
Ah,
Like
gotcha, gotcha.
there's ways to go back and check and stuff because there's two time jumps in the game too, which is surprising. You don't see RPGs do too many time jumps,
Oh,
at least
okay.
not since yes. Like you start off, you get to a certain point, you jump 5 years, and then it's another time jump like 6 months to like the last bit of the game. But it's not Final Fantasy 16 is pretty good. Like I can see why it's divisive. I know some people didn't like it because some people still like the old turn based like Octopath, which I get too. I
Mm-hmm.
get that too. I miss the old school, but between that Sonic and Mario Wonder, we're just getting old. Like the way we like games are just not what the main audience are. We're not that demographic anymore.
I'm
It's
not
a new
gonna
demographic.
lie. I will be honest. I never liked the turn base. Like I will play turn base because it was what we grew up with, right? Like so I'm
Mm-hmm.
accustomed to it. But as far as actually liking it, I've never liked turn base. It it to me it was uh okay, so I guess I'm kind of like in the middle. I'll put it that way.
Okay.
Because like in certain situations, turn base has its reason, right? Like when things get too fast, it's good to have be able to switch it into that turn based mode and just let it ride. But there are some times where I just want to cut loose. Like, have you played the Final Fantasy VII remake?
No, I have it saved. I think
Okay.
Shaniqua has it saved. So, oh, I got the down. I downloaded it so I can go back and re-download it later. So I did that. That's what I did.
Okay, okay. So it my if memory serves me right, that is where what you played in 16 started as far as the Final Fantasy like the remake stuff cuz like they
Okay.
started doing that with I know 14 had it. I think they did one right before that too, if I'm not mistaken. I played 14 on Xbox though. So I don't
Okay.
completely remember, but that one had it was free world, right? Free roam around, do what you want to do.
Okay.
That I love doing. I love that style of gameplay. However, watching like you play Octopath, there are certain parts in that where I was like, "There's no way on God's green earth that would have made it and playing the same way that they have 16." You know what I mean? Like some of those
Mm-hmm.
scenes and some of those fights you were doing, had they made it the same way they did 16 in remake, I don't think it would have. I don't think it would have made it.
Nah, and then but Octavale was named with like the old school 16-bit era in mind. So,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, that's a stylistic choice more than anything. Octavale was more of a stylistic choice. Final Fantasy 16 is like more the Kingdom Hearts. You're more Zelda. You're more,
Mm-hmm.
which took me a while to get. Like I said, Kingdom Hearts and Zelda. I still haven't. I still haven't go back to Tears of the Kingdom. I can go back. I'll finish that next year. Like I said, I think I was on someone's Discord server or Twitter, and I said I'm not buying no games in 2024, so I finish up the backlog I got in 2023. I'm not
Ha!
touching a single.
Have
I'm not buying
fun.
this.
Although you got lucky because with the strike happening, the writer strike and everything, that kind of affected to a degree the gaming industry as well. Not much,
Hmm.
but at least it'll slow down what's coming out. You know what I mean? So you
Oh
kind of
yeah,
got lucky on that one.
yeah. Like I'm surprised. Well, Sonic and Mario came out. I mean, it's Sonic and Mario. I mean, you're not gonna need much writing
Yeah,
for those
there's not.
games.
Yeah, those are pretty much what they are.
GTA 6 might be a whole nother story. That might be a whole different animal.
True, very true.
Or maybe Final Fantasy 17. But I doubt we'll get another Final Fantasy. Probably when
Not
the next
anytime
consoles.
soon. Nah. Well, we may get one. We may get one. If they do though, it'll probably be PC. I think. I would assume
Mhm.
that it will be more PC based. Um, which if you are a PC gamer and you have not played Final Fantasy on PC, is definitely something. Final Fantasy Online. Um, that is one you definitely need to look into. Another game I would suggest looking into for those PC gamers is Guild Wars. Guild Wars is free actually. Um,
Oh, okay.
yeah, it's free up until like a certain point, if I'm not mistaken. And then some of the extensions, like two or three of the extensions, are for sale. But even with that, like I caught them on sale. It was like three of the extensions for like $30. So yeah,
That's not bad.
yeah, it's not
That's,
bad at all.
that's, yeah, I
Uh,
think I was. What was I looking at earlier? Oh, the Turtles arcade, Shredder's Revenge. They're having a
huh.
30% off sale for the rest of the year, so
Oh,
you get the
nice.
game and DLC for 30% off. So if you haven't gotten that, that's a. I was
There's
like,
another one.
damn, that's a good deal.
Yeah, yeah, no, that is definitely a good one because that right there was they was running what was it, $30 a character for a little bit for the new ones.
Now I think it's like the street now it's for Turtles. Turtles I think was 30 for the game. And I think the DLC was 8. So
Eight.
pretty much
Okay, there we
40.
go.
So
So
that's
40, 50
pretty much a 40
bucks.
buck game.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's average.
yeah.
I know some people don't like beat 'em ups being that high, but it's the times we live in right now. I get
It
it.
that's what
Like,
it is. Now, okay. Now here's a question for you. Just not to poke the hornet's nest, right? But
go ahead.
what do you think of digitals being more expensive or the same price as physical copies?
Ooh, you want to poke the hornet's nest with that one? Honestly, going with that one. I get why they. Like I said, I have a business minor in college, so I
Mm-hmm.
understand why they do some of this stuff like this. To be quite frank, I think digital should probably be $10 less than physical. Honest
Okay.
opinion, but the ways they're starting to do digital codes and cards now, they're going to stay the same. Like if someone didn't say, "Oh, you can do a digital down, you can just buy a card
Mm-hmm.
at a store for the same price,"
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we'd be in this situation. Honestly, I prefer digital personally, just personal opinion. I like digital
Mm-hmm.
because of the Switch.
Right.
I got almost I think I have like almost 30 games on the Switch, and the way I've moved around since that consoles came out, I'm like, I would have lost so many damn games if it wasn't digital.
I feel that. I feel it. So, okay, I guess my thing with digital is more so, um, like for example, I've got PS Plus, right? And the way that PS Plus works is, as long as you are a PS Plus member, you retain the account that you have. You retain all the games that you've gotten for free on there, moving forward, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you, I was looking into like they've got a newer tier program now to where it's kind of like Game Pass from Xbox, which at first I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. But then like looking into it, the games that I have for PS Plus right now, right? As long as they have access to their network, they're mine, right? I can move stuff around, do what I want to do. With when you have something like like Game Pass, it's not the same. You literally are your blockbuster in that is what you're
Pretty
doing.
much.
And so as soon as you stop wanting to pay that price, that game is no longer in your inventory. You know what I mean? You can't don't have access to it. Now I mean, you could I guess you could kind of say it's the same thing for the essential where you have it during that time span, but if I've downloaded the game, I have access to that game still. Even if I don't
Right.
have the server, you know what I mean, running. As long as I downloaded the game, I still have access to it.
Yeah, some of these like Nintendo Switch, if you got Switch Online, certain DLCs to games you don't have to buy them. You just got them for free. Like,
Right.
which I kind of like that model personally because it's like good. I don't have to down. I can download it, but I don't have to pay for it. But if I'm gonna pay for it anyway, just give me the DLC stuff for free. Like, I
Right.
just see it as an add-on.
So I kind of wonder, like, I really wonder about, like, if something happens, the cloud goes down, something like that. What is, you know what I mean? What's going to happen to the money I've sank into all of this? How does
Right.
that, how's that
That's
going to work?
understandable. Yeah, because I know Nintendo's going through it, and I know this was a story about like 2 3 weeks ago. They're finally shutting down the servers for Wii U and 3DS
Mm-hmm.
games,
Mm-hmm.
and people are like, wow. And considering how long the 3DS family has been out, that's
Right.
almost 10 years. You got 10 years
10
sunk into that.
years. Think about that. There's no way. There's no reason. I mean, I understand from the business side, I know why they're doing it, right? There's
Me
only so
too.
much
Me
memory you can
too.
keep. But as the gamer, it's kind of one of those like, well, what do I've had this system for this long. Are you saying me telling me now if I had a fully digital, think about it, if I had a fully digital um game catalog, you're telling me this system is now of no consequence to me at this point. Like I
That
can't
there's
use
no
it
point.
for anything now.
Oh, you better have a physical. At that point, you better have physical. Because I know Pokemon fans been going through that with the same reason with the 3DS
Mm-hmm.
shutting down all the 3DS Pokemon games. You have to get them over
Mm-hmm.
to a program called Pokemon Bank. Even Pokemon said, "Oh, even though Nintendo's shutting down the service, we're gonna keep Pokemon Bank open for maybe a couple of more months
Right. They have you
after
move
it."
stuff over, I think.
Yeah, because Pokemon's trying to get everybody to Pokemon Home. That's gonna be their default going forward. They've kind
Right.
of like or I forget the terminology, but they've kind of like made it so that whatever game comes out in the future with Pokemon, if you have Pokemon
It'll run
Home,
through that.
yeah, you can just transfer any game to any game. So, like I said, you have like, let's say you're playing Scarlet and Violet, and you like Dawn Fan. I'll just use me as an example,
Mm-hmm.
Dawn Fan. So let's say I'm playing Scarlet and Violet. I got a perfect Dawn Fan, perfect IVs, perfect move set, the whole nine.
Right.
All right. As long as if they stop doing Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, they stop. I can just put that Pokemon into Pokemon Home, and then if Dolphin's in the next game, all I have to do is just bring them over. I don't have to train them. I don't have to do
Right.
anything. Boom, just like that.
True.
That that's one thing I do like about Pokemon. They've been a little forward thinking about things. People like, why don't they put all the Pokemon again? Like you're at a franchise with almost 1,000 Pokemon. That is never happening. You'll never see a Pokemon game with 1,000. At best, you'll probably
Yeah.
whatever the number is for that generation. Let's say next
Yeah,
generation
you may have the
1,200.
generation, maybe the generation before it, maybe one generation after it. Like, I mean, maybe two generations tops before. You'll have a partial from the two generations back. You'll have maybe the majority of the previous generation and then the new generation.
Right? Or like you'll probably have, and I was saying this in a Facebook chat. At most, with Pokemon games going forward, out of whatever the maximum amount, you're at best probably gonna get 70%. At
Mm-hmm.
best, 70.
I
At
can see that.
70. But they're not because if you play Pokemon games, you know you're not going to get all the regional bugs, the regional birds.
Right.
You're probably not going to get the legendaries. I know some people are upset the these from Alola are not going to be in the DLC for Scarlet and Violet. That's already been confirmed. They're not coming.
Oh wow.
Some people are upset about that. Lore wise, I get it. Like I said, every two that's 7th gen. We're in 9th gen right now,
Yep.
so
Yeah,
they
that's two.
probably
Like
don't
you
want to
said, it's
bring.
about two back, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yep.
So
Like I think the only Pokemon that you'll see, I think going forward in every game is just gonna be the starter Pokemon. I wouldn't be surprised.
yeah,
Since Generation 8, all the starters have been available. So, like I said, if you like a starter, I can almost guarantee 2 straight games they've been in every iteration of the game, the starter Pokemon are safe.
I can see that. I can see that.
So if you like Bulbasaur, you like say, I'll just wait till Bulbasaur comes to the game. I can see people doing that.
Yeah.
Or if I'm a Charmander guy, I'm like, I'll wait till Charizard comes. I'll wait.
Right.
You know, the people want to play with their old school, and I get it. You want to play with the old school, I get it. Totally get it. But digital, I think is going to be the way to go. We're probably at least 15 years away from being all digital. Probably at least 2 console generations away from that. I think honestly.
What I would love is not digital, but I want him to go back to like which system? I forget which system it was. One system had like it was almost like microfiche. It was the itty bitty cartridges. Do you
Mm.
know which one I'm talking about?
It's either PSP. I won't say it's PSP if I had to take a
I
guess.
think so. But like I can't wait for them to get to that. Because and it's funny, I got this from I was looking at Shangri-La Frontier, then one of the new anime for this season that came out.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, so side note, yes, I can't wait for them to get VR straight, to where we can actually do some real stuff with it. And they've got those track pads. They're out now, but I want them to get to the point where we can really like they've been tested and ready to go, if that makes sense. So you can actually do the running and the movement and all that stuff. Um, but a lot of those don't have a lot of the VR games that you see, they don't need that full CD-ROM drive system. You know what I mean? Like there shouldn't be
Right.
a necessity for it. So if we can get to the point where that's something we can do and go off those smaller, what do you say, smaller like desks. You know what I mean? That
Mm-hmm.
would be awesome.
It just depends on how they do it, honestly. Like I've never been a big fan of VR or like the Connect type of stuff. I've never been a big fan of that.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause I feel like it's just just a personal preference. Like I got like I said, I'm old school. I'm used to joysticks, so it's just like going away from a joystick is kind of scary at times. I'm not going to even lie. And even playing with the Switch, but the Switch is like playing a giant console anyway, like a handheld console. It was a bit of a pacifier. So, honestly, um, but it just depends on what the technology is. Like, I know there's a segment of people who like VR. There's always gonna be a segment of gamers for no
Oh,
matter
I
what
love
the
it.
genre.
I think it's great. Honestly, I do. It's just I don't like the cons. I don't like having joysticks in VR. That's
Okay, I can see
the
what you're saying.
that's for me. That's the one thing that's getting me. Like I don't like if I'm going to use a joystick, give me a joystick. You know what I
Right.
mean? Let me see the world around me and go from there. Unless whatever I'm operating requires a joystick for me to use. You know what I mean? Other than that, if it's a first person shooter, like just like we used to do at House of the Dead, give me the gun. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If it's we're doing Beat Saber, give me the stick. I'm okay with I'm okay with the Wii controllers that we used to have back in the day, where you just have to kind of watch it. I don't like the fact that most of them have to be recalibrated on a regular basis. We're at a point that
Right.
anything with even the Wii, even the Switch controls, when you have to do it for like Wii Tennis or anything like that, we should be at a point where you don't have to keep recalibrating them, no matter how much movement they're doing. Like we should be able to recalibrate them. You should be able to use it every day for 30 days and not have to recalibrate it.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, we don't got the technology for that just yet. I see what you're saying
Yeah.
because I see where you're coming from on that.
So that's
I
all.
agree.
I think we should be real close or there for something like that. You know. Um.
right. Like it's like we're on the cusp. Like I think
Mm-hmm.
controllers are always going to be around. 'Cause people want to play like your Mario's, your Sonics. Like you're going to need a controller for games like that. Like I don't see anybody running around their house playing Sonic the Hedgehog. I don't see that.
Mm-hmm.
I can see some kid running around not paying attention and fall right down the steps. I can see that happening.
Right, and see that's why I want either I want it to be where you have the trackpad, so that way you can move on the trackpad and you're bolted in, right? The
Right.
problem is that for a guy my size, they don't make them big enough, nor sturdy enough. Like, cause I've
Oh
watched
no.
these trackpads that they've got right now, and these dudes got to be a buck 20 soaking wet running on it, and it's still shaking when they start making abrupt turn. There's no way anybody with any type of heft to them, any type of weight, you know what I'm saying, a decently sized football player, you know what I mean, they wouldn't be able to
Oh
do it
yeah.
because if they juke, that's that whole mass that's holding them strapped in is going with them, and they're going through a wall.
Like you're not gonna see Shaq on it. You're not gonna see
Right,
Shaq on it.
right. You're not. Ocho Cinco's not gonna be on one of these systems right now. He's just not. You know what I mean? Unless they get some real reinforcement for what's going on. So
Oh yeah.
that's just what the research I've done on them so far. Like I said, so I can't wait till they finally get it really set, or if they get away to where, and this is kind of like they do in the, yeah, this kind of, I'm going off the anime with this one, but like where most of them so far, it's been someone laying down and it's just a neural link. Now that one I don't like as
Yeah.
much because, all right, this is gonna sound crazy, right? But
Okay,
I
go
don't
ahead.
like it as much because I feel like we're going to have a lot of atrophy. So if you think about gaming
Not
right
the
now, right? So if you think about gaming
I
right
wasn't
now,
thinking that way. I was thinking the other way. We
okay,
might have a Doctor Octopus. I was thinking Doctor Octopus situation.
I feel that
I was
too.
thinking,
That definitely works too. I get you. I get you on that too. I do understand that. But my thing was more so like if you think about it as a gamer now, normally we're sitting, right? And so we got to make sure
mm-hmm,
every couple hours we get up, stretch our legs. You know what I mean? Get stretch your
mm-hmm,
hands, get something to eat, so that your body doesn't get numb, right? Then they came out with the Wii and the, you know what I'm saying, the movement games. So people are up, they're moving around now, which is great. It's wonderful,
mm-hmm.
right? I think it's one of the best things since sliced bread, the invention of those games. I think they've come a long
Yeah.
way from when they first started. I think they can make them a little more engaging.
That's one thing I am kind of. There's one thing I have been disappointed about the Switch. Honestly, I thought we have like a Switch Fit, or even EA Sports had a great exercise game. They had a very good exercise game
See, and that's the thing though.
for
I
the Wii.
don't want an exercise game. The exercise games are great. The exercise games are really good. Like We's got the boxing game. That boxing game is phenomenal, right?
Oh yeah,
And
oh yeah, that was fun. That
it's
was hella
it's
fun.
it's a great game. The Wii Fit, the Ring Fit thing,
Mm-hmm.
also a good game. The only thing I have about that is you've got to buy, if you're a bigger person already trying to do those games, the bands never fit right.
That was always the problem.
You know what I
That
mean?
was
It's
oh
like it's
yeah.
already hard
That's
enough
a
trying to find workout clothes. Now you got to find workout gamer gear. Like it's a whole side note. That's a
that is one
niche.
thing I was yeah. That's one thing I was disappointed with the Switch. I thought they would figure out a way to at least bring the Wii balance more back and
Mm-hmm.
make that compatible with the Switch. So when it's in dock mode, you could probably have like
Right.
a step game or something like that. Because that was one of my favorite workouts of Wii Fit was doing the steps. Like you up, you
Mm-hmm.
left, right, up, down, clap, but bring your leg up. It's like you
Right.
were doing step. Like it's like you were
Step right.
stepping
It's like
for
you were
like
doing like a line dance or something like that. Like learning. Yo, they could really do like a bunch of line dances and put them in a step game, and people would buy it. It would fly off the shelves.
oh, I buy it in a heartbeat. That'd be hella fun.
Or
That'd be
get it to
hella
where you
fun.
can make your own steps. Like you could program your own. You know what I mean? Slides into it.
Right, yeah. I don't think we got the technology for that. I know Just Dance still does their games for the Switch. I've seen people
Yeah.
streaming. I'm like, I'm like, not what I want, but hey, it worked. They got it working, so
Right, right.
yay for that. Someone's trying at least, someone's
See,
trying
I
to
think we
figure
took
it
a
out.
step back with the Just Dance games though. Like I think Just Dance took a step back from when it was on Xbox. Because if you remember we had Xbox 360 and the one on there it would we had the full visual. You remember we had like the camera, it was the visual camera, right?
Right.
And so literally it recorded every move you made to score you. And now it's just like if you happen to move the right way, it's gonna register it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's why I didn't like this the switch boxing games. I didn't like that. I was like, it's like even if you're doing the punch right, it won't register. I'm like, oh, this is stupid. I'm like, like
So,
I put it down and never. Once I figured it out, I'm like, oh, even if I'm doing the punches right, it's not going to register. I was disappointed. I was really disappointed. I was gonna. I really was gonna use that to work out and get back into shape. I was like, I
mhm.
was disappointed. I was really disappointed.
So yeah, most of the boxing games have been pretty good. I don't know which one that one was that you were looking at, but most of the Wii Fit boxing games have been pretty darn good. Um,
Yeah.
but the thing is though, with that's all we've got. You know what I mean? Like we had the step thing, right? The board, and then we had the boxing, right? Then we had the ring fit, and then we had DDR before that, which I don't know why they stopped making that game. I don't.
Probably money, or people didn't want the peripherals on the to have the physical devices that you need for those games. I wouldn't be surprised either one or two.
They
One
did
that's
not
what I mean.
cost, even back in the heyday, they did not cost that much. I had it. I had the pads. I had the bootleg game on my PC that I could download. I could download all kinds of songs. I think I had over 5,000 songs from across the world, literally.
Oh wow.
And then we had the steps, the pads that you could connect it to the computer. And then I had the actual games. I had like all 7, 8 of them on my PlayStation. And the same pads would connect to my PlayStation. So depending on what I wanted to do or who I was playing against, you know what I mean? If I wanted a higher
Right.
caliber and I was just by myself, I'd throw it on my computer. But if I had a bunch of people over, I would put it on the main one that they were used to at the arcade, which was the one on PlayStation, right? So
Yeah.
I would do that, and it the arcades that I've seen, they still have at least one DDR machine in them, and to this day, they still get play. Like that machine is still one of the hardest machines to get on at any arcade I've ever been to.
People still like playing that way. That's the thing. People like playing those games. Was like the companies don't want to put the. I don't want to say put the effort. That's probably not the right word for it. It's just like, are you gonna get a return on your investment to put it? Like you say.
And
Let's
you're
say I
right,
put.
and that's the thing. We don't know. You know, what I'm saying, we don't know those numbers, and I'm sure that that's part of the reason why. Or they may have
I
just
wouldn't
went
be
to the next thing.
surprised.
You know, they may have just went to the next thing. But it's just like that. That was the for me. That was the start. And then there was your Dance Dance Revolution, and then your Just Dance, and now everything else we've talked about. But I think we're at a point where there should be something more at this point. Like we should be able to have a there should be a Golden Eye. If you took Golden Eye, just the original Golden Eye from 64, and turned it into a Wii sport game where you actually had to move around to shoot, people would buy it.
Like I'm surprised Nintendo didn't do that with Splatoon. To be quite honest, I'm looking at had time. I'm looking at Splatoon. Like I want to play with them. Like if I could play that like virtually with like a with like a paint gun that could connect to the Switch, that would be so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a lot of fun. That would be fun just to come out for just some fun. I don't know, maybe internet connectivity would probably be hard doing it like online. That's like a lot of calibrations and calculations you have to put into things, but I don't think the technology is there for what we're talking about, Panda.
That's the
Because
thing.
I
I
see
think it
where
is. I honestly think it is, and they're holding out. I'm gonna be 100%. I
okay,
think it is. Like if you think about and the reason I say that is because of this. I have an equation that I use, and it seems to work on almost everything that has come out. If you watch a
okay,
sci-fi movie, Give it between 5 and 10 years, no more than 12 years, and it will show up in real life for the mainstream market. Mainstream market. That does not mean the private people who had it beforehand. We've been talking about VR, like fully autonomous VR, for at least the last 6 years now. Ready Player
Sure.
One came out, was the first massive movie about it. You know what I mean? Like in recent years, anyway. In recent years, it was the first massive movie about it. In what was that? That came out when? Give me a second.
Then it was that Ryan Reynolds movie too. Was it Free Guy? I think it was called Free Guy.
Right. That was so closer. Ready Player One was 2018, which was 5 years ago now. Right. Ready Play.
Damn,
Free Guy was like 4 years ago. I want to say
that
2020.
sound
No,
about right.
2 years ago, 2021. And
Mm,
then
mm, mm, mm.
Tron, the original Tron, came out in 1982, which was redone in 2010. We're at 13
That's
years from the newest version. When did we start getting we got the first VR we had was, what was it called? Oculus
Yeah, that was what PS4 era. That PS4, PS3 era.
3 if I'm not mistaken. 2012 is when Oculus came out.
Okay, that was okay. Post college. Okay, post college. Okay,
Right. And it was probably started before that, let's be honest. You know what I'm saying?
true.
So
Probably
if
like
we're
5 years
looking
before that.
right. So if we're looking at that, like all of this stuff has been out for a while. Hold it, here we go. Perfect. Let me pull this up here. Because Oculus was not the first. Let me see here. Because NASA had it in '89 for astronauts,
Mm-hmm.
and again, '82 is when Tron came out in the movies, the first one. By '89, NASA was using VR. You see what I'm saying? They've been using it
Mm-hmm.
this entire time. We're talking about mainstream use now. That's why I said between 10 and 12 years at the most, you're going to see it for mainstream use.
You might be onto something. That would
Sega,
explain why we haven't had.
94, Sega. Remember the Sega VR games in the arcade?
You know what? Damn, you know what? I vaguely remember them. I
Yep,
probably didn't
like
go near
just
them,
vaguely.
but I remember them.
Yeah. They were expensive, but they were there. And then 2012 was when the Rift had their Kickstarter. So there we go. And you all can kind of see that as we're going through everything here. But yeah, so that, like I said, within 10 years, give it 10 to 12 years, anything I see in a movie is going to be out for the mainstream.
And now, now I think about it, you're right. Because I know, I think the Switch came out about 7 years ago, and you'd have told me 15 years ago we'd had a console where it was both handheld, where it was handheld and you can play it on TV. I'd have said you off your goddamn mind. That ain't never gonna happen.
Cell phones started in '73, right?
We
Star
got 40
Trek.
years into cell phone. Wow.
Hold on, when did Star Trek start?
I want to say 72. Let me see.
'66.
Star
Not
Oh
even
damn, that's
12 years. Not even 10 years later, we had cell phones.
mm-mm.
Think about it. When they had, remember they had the little trackers, little doot doot. Not even
I
10
mean,
years later.
think about the Jets. Yeah, Jetsons I think came out around that time. Look, we got video chat just like what
Mm-hmm.
10 years ago. Well,
Mm-hmm.
you might be onto something with that 10, with that
So I'm
13
just
years. You
saying it's
might be
not
onto something.
everything, but a lot of times, with a lot of stuff, within 10 years, the mainstream public is able to get their hands on it.
Perfect example. I can't believe I'm actually about to say this. If you had told me 10, 15 years ago we have a decent live action anime adaptation or something, I'd have said you off your goddamn mind too.
Mm-hmm.
Too. Kenshin and One Piece.
Mm-hmm.
So, I,
I'm
you know
scared
what's
about
one?
this UU. I saw the trailer for it. It looks decent. We'll see.
I'm concerned about that one myself. I don't know because I'm like, Holly did the casting, but I mean, I've watched Yu Yu Hakusho enough. It's I can see it being live action. I don't see many issues. Maybe if you do CGI for certain demons, but
Oh yeah,
everybody's
the
mostly
demons and
human.
powers are gonna have to be CG. That's an automatic. But I mean, as long as they, I mean, we're in an age of CG that there's nothing they can't do. It's whether they're gonna spend the money. Bottom line.
I mean, that's the name. CW did the Flash for what 8 seasons?
Right.
I know people are like, how do they pull CGI? I was like, it's not that goddamn hard. They put the money into it.
That's
Like
it.
if I remember correctly, with the like CW gave the Warner Brother TV like X amount, like your budget was 5 million for an episode.
Mm-hmm.
At least a third of that went towards the CGI for Flash running. That's why if you watch the Flash, there's certain episodes where Barry's not running. It's because
Mm-hmm.
they did not want to put
They
they put
wanted
their
it for
money into
another
another.
fight. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It's like think about how many times he had to fight people. No, we're saving that for when he's gotta fight somebody. We
Like,
re-loop. Think of it. Every time he ran through the city, it was almost the same like 10 times. The screens are the exact same with him running through the city.
yep,
They just reuse it. I mean, I don't blame him. I definitely don't blame him. It's budget. I get that. But
me too.
so like when the people say, "Oh, I don't know," it's I don't. We're at a point right now when they did King Kong versus Godzilla and it came out the way that it did, and then I saw the Imperfects and how they did the Chupacabra. Luffy, Luffy was in Imperfects. Inca Godoy, that was the first place I saw him. Was in Imperfects. He was a Chupacabra. He was basically a werewolf. Dude did good, but as far as you know, me and my werewolves, the
Mm-hmm.
only movie that I think is worth talking about as far as a werewolf, there is probably like there's two sets. There's the werewolf movie that came out that had Anthony Hopkins in it, maybe
Ooh.
like 7 8 years ago. Then there's the Underworld movies. Those by far are
You
the
know what? I
best
gotta
werewolf
agree.
movies.
I gotta agree with you on that. Underworld with the werewolves. I know
Yes, on
fiance
point.
got me into the. It's yeah. Fiance got me into Underworld, so I'm like,
Oh,
okay, yeah.
bro, that's my series right there.
She got me into it. I was like, oh, okay, this
Tell her
ain't
I said
that
thank you.
bad. Because she wanted me to watch Underworld for the longest,
I have,
and
I
I
think,
think I see
almost all of them.
because I was kind of team until I saw all the movies. I was kind of on the vampire side, and I'm like, oh wait, 'cause I usually root for the vampires, but I was like, oh, the vampires really are the bad guys for once. I'm like, oh shit.
Oh yeah, no, the vampire since day one, bruh. When old boy, I forget his name, the actor who played Lucian. Anytime you see that man, he is an evil villain. Think about it. That should have
You know
told you
what, sir?
immediately.
you you're not lying. You're not lying. You're not lying. I don't know better, but I'm always team vampire unless the story unless they're truly antagonists.
I feel that. Yeah, no,
I'm always out.
I'm always team werewolf, even if they're the bad guy. Even if they're the bad guy, I'm always team werewolf. It's I don't know. That's just my personal preference between the two, though. So,
I'm always a vampire first. Like me and Shaniqua just finished Castlevania. We just finished that up. That is gonna be fire. Like the way the season ended.
mm-hmm,
Wait for season two because it's pretty much Alucard's back. That's all I'm gonna say. Alucard's back.
I heard.
I was like, oh shit. Because I mean, the antagonist for the newer series is Richter. Like, if you play Smash Brothers, you've seen Richter. Like,
Yeah.
at Richter, you're like, oh shit. But I know Shaniqua was mad. I know, like, she hates when people are at like use her word, act like little bitches or run away. She hates characters that run away. She gets
No,
on me
take
when
that
I'm
L,
playing Resident
fam.
Evil.
Take that L.
Like she got mad at me when I'm playing Resident Evil and I keep running away. It's like you gotta fight something. I'm like,
Yeah, nah. Some
I'm at like
fights. Mm-mm.
I'm at a quarter of health. I gotta find something to heal. I need a gun or something. I'm like a quarter of
Shoot.
health.
No, see, I get where she's coming from, but there's certain times where it's like, no.
You can't fight your way through everything now.
Yeah,
Even I
fam.
know that. You
I
gotta, you
agree
gotta,
with you on that one.
you gotta learn how to fight at low health. This is you gotta know. Okay, I gotta survive long enough.
It's like, what gun do
Oh,
I have? If it's not a shotgun or a gun with a silencer, no. Mm-mm.
she gonna get mad at me. I'm like, I'm trying to stay alive. I mean, I'm playing the survival part. I'm trying to
Right.
survive so I can get my bearings and figure out what the hell's going on. Like I was playing the original Resident Evil. Like it's not that bad. It's
Oh
just I
yeah.
think the controls from that era, it's just
It's
hard for
going
me
back to
personally.
it. Yeah.
Like my instincts from the PS1 era are just not there. Like I think I got, I was like 3/4 of through the first scenario. So if I got 3/4 of the way, I'll take that as a victory. I'll take that as a victory. But it's hard. Like even playing Code Veronica, I like streamed Code Veronica for like a hot minute. That was not too bad, but just like the inverse controls. I thought they stopped it with Code Veronica. I think that was a game. I think it's the game
Yeah, I
after
can't
that
do
they stopped doing.
inverse. Yeah, I cannot do inverse. That's not. Mm-mm. I always stop.
Like
I
I'm sure.
reset everything immediately.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think. I think I'm playing the original version. So you can't reverse it. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I gotta get used to this. But I mean, I'm definitely gonna play it again. That's another game I'm probably gonna play once I finish up some other games. Like I said, Final Fantasy 16, I'm at the last dungeon. Sonic Superstars, I'm at the last boss. I'm just like, either I'm getting old. I don't know. We even talk about this whole show, but I feel like either I'm getting too old for some of these games, or I just don't have the patience I did as a little when I was younger. Because I'm playing
Mm,
Sonic Superstars. I'm playing Sonic
combination.
Superstars, and I was about to say, I think it's a combination. From like the
Yeah.
last Robotnik fight is 2 phases, and you have to get 6 each. I'm like, it should be 8. What the fuck you doing 12? You just stretching the game out.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what it is. It's a combination. Like we, if you think about it, there's a lot more in life that we have to deal with now than we did then. So the most of our worries was beating a boss. You know what I'm saying? Like that was the most we had to deal with. That was our stress and struggle was beating the boss. Like now we got bills and stuff, bruh.
Yeah, gotta get up and go to work in the morning. I
Right,
ain't
I
got
gotta
time.
get up. This was supposed to be my relaxation. I don't want to be stressed during my relaxation. That's where that falls. So,
And like I was getting mad. I'm like, I know I can beat this damn boy, but it's like, why do I have to go through 12 fucking hits? Like
uh
that.
huh.
And I've been playing the other 2D. So I'm like, even most of the final bosses are like 8. I'm like, who doing 12? Like, you doing too much.
Uh-huh.
But that's the thing. News, I know news. Yeah, but I'm like, I'm getting older. Like 9 year old me probably wouldn't have cared. I probably got more frustrated probably threw a control out the window. But
Right, and see
but
that, and that's the difference right there. You know, that is the difference completely. So, but it is what it is. It's one of those we go through and we pick and choose what we want to put our energy into. I mean, when you got enough, when you have more on your plate than you want to consciously understand and recognize, because that's a part of it too. Like we not only have the the conscious things on our plate that we're dealing with, right? But we also have the subconscious things that we're dealing with too. You know, and that's something we didn't have. The subconscious was not there before, and the conscious
mhm,
wasn't as large as it is now.
yep.
You know, so when you want to take a moment to relax, like I used to, you used to ask, or like you may look at it, talk to parents, and be like, why they just sitting there? Like they could do something with that time, and it's like doing nothing is one of the greatest gifts you have as an adult.
So,
Doing absolutely nothing means that your mind was able to shut off. You're not worried about the bills. You're not worried about debt. You're not worried about the kids. You're not worried about work the next morning or next week. You're not worried about a project that's coming down the pipeline. You know what I mean. You have to really truly be able to shut your mind off is something that 90% of the population is unable to do because there's
yeah,
always something consciously that they're dealing with, which means that if you're consciously always running at 110%, when do you get a chance to work on the unconscious stuff?
that's true.
You know what I mean? Like when in your life do you have the opportunity to say, okay, Now that this is done, set this here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's work on the other stuff that I haven't had time to work on, and not the fun other stuff. So,
That's the move. And that's the thing. Was bothering me with sound like I streamed it and I got to the final boss. I'm like, I'm struggling, but I'm enjoying myself. And at the same time, like, I know I get the skills to beat this. Like, I know I played Sonic since I was 9. I know how to
mm-hmm,
beat it. I know how to beat 2D Sonic.
mm-hmm,
But like these newer games, they're trying to make it harder for the new kids, and I get it. Even a little bit of Mario Wonder I play, I'm like, yeah, like, like just to go into a little inside baseball, both Sonic and Mario, they're both doing different things, but they're both trying to target younger audience. They're both doing the same thing, but they're taking
mm-hmm.
things that we knew as kids out of the games. Like Sonic, for example, there's no lives. There's no lives. There's no time over anymore. So you go over 10 minutes, you don't die anymore. So I'm like, oh shit.
Oh wow.
I was like, oh, I was like, whoa. I was like, that's different. Like Mario still has the lives, but they took out not that you don't have the coins per se, you still have the coins and stuff,
Oh, so like
but a
so
lot
the
of
100
this,
coins, you mean?
yeah, like you still have a live system and everything,
Right.
but you don't have no score anymore. Mario doesn't have a score anymore.
How does
More
that
time.
work? How does that even work?
Trust me. I know Mario without a 2D Mario without a score. How does that work? That's
Yeah,
not
that's
compute.
crazy. That's
But
crazy.
they did keep they had the one up system. So like you had 200, 400, 600, 800,
Right,
1000,
right.
2000, one up. They still have it, but it's like yet good, fantastic, wow, awesome, one up, one up, one. Like I said, it's there, but they switched it up
They moved
because
it
there's
around.
no
Okay.
score anymore.
Yeah.
So they're
Yeah, you
trying
had
to
mentioned
like
that we was playing Spyro last time. I think you was talking about that then. Yeah.
it's probably yeah.
Yeah, you were
I
talking
would
about
love to
that.
see I would love to see a modern Spyro. I know Crash 4 came out a couple of years ago. That didn't do well, I think, because they tried to do old school and new school, and I don't think nobody liked either.
Mm.
Like the old school way was having no having lives and all that stuff, and then you play new school way where you didn't die. But then when you played not dying, I'm like, this is
It's
not
kind
as
of a
fun
what's
or
the point?
challenging.
Yeah. It kind of went what's the
And
point after that?
yeah, and I know when I was playing like Super Sonic, I'm playing more reckless than I usually do. I'm like, oh, I don't have to worry about lives. I'm just gonna come back. I noticed I played a little bit more reckless. I was like,
Well,
oh,
see,
that's
and
a
that's probably what
risk.
throwing you off if you're honest with yourself. Think about it. The reason we played the way we played. Think about our games. Shinobi. We're talking about regular NES games, right? The games we
Mm-hmm.
used to play, you had to worry. You had to carefully cultivate lives and keep them. Like that was the name of the game. And
Mm-hmm.
so if you take that out of it, the entire strategy that we grew up with no longer exists. And if it doesn't exist, then you can't play like the tension to play how we played is no longer there. So you're no longer playing how you normally played, which is why you're losing.
Yep, that's exactly
Because the
what it
tension's
is.
gone. Like
Like
there's
I'm
no
playing Sonic.
oh, what do we say? What did I used to say? There's no consequence to your action.
Exactly.
And in this era of people who want to act like everybody gets a trophy, which is how they made the game now,
Mm-hmm.
the consequence was if you don't make this jump, you die. If you hit that spike, you die.
Like
Now it's
you had
not
to
the
cut your
same.
teeth. You had to
Right.
cut your teeth learning.
Exactly. It was a point of pride to go to go to school the next day and be like, "Yo, I got past X, X, and X." You know what I mean? I don't know if they do that anymore.
Nah. I mean, most kids probably play robots these days. So
That's a whole nother
Fortnite. I
thing.
mean,
Right. That's a whole nother situation right there. So,
yeah, like the game, like the era we grew up with, it's like I said, playing both those games made me realize like, yeah, I'm getting old. I can still play these games, but I'm not the target demographic anymore.
right.
I'm the one with the money, so they'll pander to me a little bit just to get the game for the
Mm-hmm.
kids who they really want. Like, oh, here's Sonic, here's Mario, he's jumping, he has his fire flower. But we're gonna. And I was telling Shaniqua about this, like Mario Wonder, they have like segments where there's, and I know Shaniqua hates this number, so they have this thing called the Wonder Flower. So you hit the Wonder Flower, certain acts, certain boards. When you get the Wonder Flower, it turns into a musical. I'm like, oh my
What?
god, yeah. Like now the bad guys
Wow.
singing and everything. I'm like, oh my god.
Wow.
I'm like,
Okay,
are
that's
you
interesting.
serious? I'm like, yeah, you can if you want them to stop singing, you can kill them.
That would definitely happen every time. Every time. Be like, no, 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 we're not hitting anything. We're just going to go ahead and murder him now because there's no point.
they're gonna they're gonna be singing until you get the Wonder Seed to put the level back to normal. So it's like, or you'll have,
Wow.
or if you remember Mario Galaxy, remember the levels they had in Mario Galaxy where it was like the timer with the blocks,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like that's back too in 2D. Certain levels with that, I'm like, oh shit, they brought this back. I'm like, oh
They
no, I
was
used to
trying
hate
to
that.
catch they was trying to catch somebody. Somebody did something wrong. They lost a bet. That had to be what happened. Somebody lost a bet and had to put that in. Like they can't tell me that they just decided, "Oh, this is a good idea." That can't have happened.
Or like some people say they must have been high coming up with Mario Wonder. Like I played
Right?
like at least like how do you come up with this? I'm like I know Nintendo's creative, but they just let
Somebody
people
was
just
smoking something.
like they come up with the whole concept with Wonder and it's like okay we're 2D Mario, we're going a whole different route. But even I know some people who didn't like certain characters or easy mode characters. Like if you
Hmm.
like you can give them to your little like you give them to a little kid, they can play Yoshi for example. Yoshi can't die, Yoshi can't get hit,
Oh, okay,
which
okay.
I
That's
didn't like.
now that's cool. I think that they should have introduced that a long time ago because we all had like the younger sibling or the little cousin and niece or something like that who wanted to play with us, and we were like, hand them the extra controller, and then they get old enough to realize the extra controller don't move. Like, give them the
Yeah,
ability to learn how to play the game. You know, if they
yeah,
die, they die. But at least you know what I'm saying? They got, it's like playing bowling with the bumpers up. It's like bowling with a kid with the bumpers up.
right. They got to learn.
Right.
That's I know some people were mad Yoshi was an easy mode character, which I get too. I'd rather play with Yoshi. People want to see Yoshi with the fire flower and the bubble flower they
Uh
got
huh.
now. I get that. I get that. I get that. But they have like Yoshi and the last couple of Nintendos they've had this character called Nabbit, and he's kind of been the easy mode character. But now they added Yoshi as an easy mode character too. So it's like
Mm.
so you got Nabbit and Yoshi who can't get hit, who can't die, who don't take damage. And then you got Mario, you got Mario
It makes sense
Luigi,
why
you
they
got
did Yoshi though. I can see why they did Yoshi just because like he's like that mascot character. Yoshi was always that mascot character. You know what I
right. And
mean?
it's like, yeah, I see why they did it, but then I can see both sides of the argument. Like maybe Yoshi should have been a filter. Like you play easy mode with Yoshi or you play normal as Yoshi.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Now
probably
I
wouldn't.
definitely can see that. I can definitely see them like you giving you the option to play it regular with Yoshi. I think that would have been beneficial across the board.
Yeah, and I get it. Like, cause I was thinking when it first announced, just like, oh, I'm playing Yoshi first. But then when they said he's an easy mode, I'm like, oh, nah.
Mm,
Maybe on a super hard level, maybe I'll use Yoshi, but I'm not gonna use Yoshi like on all the levels. Maybe I'll play a world or two with Yoshi, but
right.
I'm not going to go out of my way to play as Yoshi. I'm not gonna go out of my way. I'll try it,
Gotcha.
but I think like this, like I can say this: Nintendo still on point with Mario. Like I'm whatever the next 2D Mario, I'm down. They just gotta tweak a little things with Wonder. Same thing with Sonic Superstars. Just gotta do a little tweaks here and there. Like you almost got it. Like you almost got it right. You're almost there. Like both the next 2D or something for both franchises are gonna be fire. I'll say that much. I think both of them are gonna be fire. So
Okay. Okay.
just to go on that. And then what else is going on? Then we got the big news that yesterday it dropped the writers' strike finally being over. So I'm kind of happy about that.
Yeah, I
I know
was
we had
looking into that. It's over ish. I say ish personally. Like I know they
mm-hmm,
said it's over, but everything I've seen is like they struck a deal, but it's kind of like they're waiting for the other shoe to foot, like the other shoe to drop. Like everything that
right,
I've read, it seems like that's where it is, because everything's like a tentative agreement, a tentative this, a tentative that. You know what I mean? Um,
right.
and so it's like, okay, what are they waiting on? I know the big thing with the strike now was them trying to get it was that streaming rights, the streaming credits,
Oh yeah, yeah. Streaming credits and the AI and
and
the
the
AI
AI
usage.
portion. That was the hugest thing as of right now. And I've not found anything to show where they what the agreement was. I'm still skimming through right now. Let's see here. Because
Yeah,
originally they were
I
talking
don't.
about a 2% share, and then it dropped to 1%, and then it dropped to a per subscriber fee. But that's when the studios said screw all of this and left. They left in the middle of negotiations, bruh. That last time, like the executives
Yeah,
got up and walked out.
that was stupid because
Right,
you know that's going to be like with labor. Like I say, you might have to just shelve that for another time. You might just shelve that for
but
another
that
time.
they weren't. That wasn't gonna happen, bro. That's too big. That's too much money
True.
on the table. There's no way the
Mm-hmm.
if I was in on the picket line, I was not let that I'm not letting go. Like you've been doing this for the last 20 years, 15 years now, since we've had streaming services at least. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying? Netflix has been around for a minute now. As is Hulu's and everybody else's, and I'm not getting paid for none of that.
I mean, you can even throw a dollar. You know, you can throw a
You know,
dollar per a hundred
nothing.
thousand views or something.
It's nothing, nothing. So there's now I have seen there's a lot of talk of jobs becoming harder to get after this last update. I know originally they said they were talking about a $429 million enhancement deal that they were looking to like bolster towards the writers
Ooh.
and everything, and I think they ended up bringing it down to 233 because originally they were the studios were talking about 86 only. So
Mm.
they brought it up to 233 from the 86, and it's down 233 from the 429 that the guild originally wanted. So I think that's a win, personally, across the
Yeah,
board.
that's a win.
That's definitely a
That
win.
sounds like a. You go from 86 to two something. You're going in the right direction.
Right. It's
They're probably saying,
definitely
okay,
going
this
there.
is good. We'll try to fight for it again next time. That's all you can do. Just get to a
So
number everybody's satisfied and fight and go for it next time. That's all you got to do.
yeah, and so the only
That,
thing, like I said, the only thing I cannot find, and I've looked through everything I could find, times everything. I cannot find what they ended up deciding on for the AI and for the streaming services. As soon as I do, they still say there's still some stuff that's coming out. Everything I've read has been saying that there's still documentation coming out about it.
well,
So hopefully we'll have something by next week. That's the hope.
I can see that. I can see that because from what I've been reading too, a lot of the shows isn't that everybody's in agreement. Most of the shows, like most of the big shows, and most are going to have Everybody's having truncated seasons pretty much. The only shows that I heard is going to have the most episodes are Abbott Elementary and Young Sheldon. At the most, they're doing 14.
Yeah.
Everybody else seems to be about 10 to 13. I know I
Yep.
saw Wolf Productions, they do Law and Order, they do Chicago Fire. They're saying all their shows are 10. That's it. It's just going to be 10 this year. That's it. They're just doing 10.
And that's
And I
interesting
think,
that you said that because I heard something about Marvel making an update to how they're doing their shows, and they're supposedly gonna start focusing on more long term TV series versus like the hour long 8 episode shows that they've been doing. So like
I see
matching
that
the
work.
CW's Flash and you know what I mean? Like trying to keep up with DC's Arrow and Flash on a Marvel level.
Sadly, that's what they should have been doing in the first place, but it's too bad.
I'm not gonna go there.
Kevin Feige and yeah, no, Feige, Marvel TV, that Kevin Feige and the head of Marvel TV had beef. That's why we never saw that. To be
I
quite
believe
honest,
it.
like, because And that's why, if you remember Agents of Shield, they originally were supposed to get Johnny Ryder Ghost Rider, but they had to settle for the other Ghost Rider. They wanted Johnny
Mm-hmm.
Blaze for Agents of Shield,
That which
and the
they
move.
so should have had Johnny Blaze. They so
I know
should
I
have had
told
Nick
Shaniqua that
Cage.
I was told
Cage would have
Shaniqua
been
that she was like,
perfect, bruh.
I told Shaniqua, I was like, wait, Johnny Blaze was supposed to be an Agent of Shield. I was like, yeah. And she asked me about Nicolas Cage. I was like, I don't know who the actor was going to be. They probably could have
Bruh,
got
if they
Nicolas Cage
brought Nicolas
for
Cage
TV.
in, I'm sure Nick would have done that. Come on. I'm
He
pretty
would
sure
have did it.
Nicolas
I think he
Cage
would
would
have
have
did
done
it.
that. You got
I
if
believe
you
he
got
did
Harrison Ford, they got Harrison Ford to be in the Marvel universe. Nicolas Cage would have done it
in a heartbeat. I
in
think he would
a
have did it in a heartbeat.
heartbeat, bro. The only person I'm waiting. Okay, side note. The only person I'm waiting right now to join the MCU. I'm trying to think. All right, let's say if you could, what 5 actors can you think of just off the top of your head that you would want to join the MCU? Not who, not as who, but just like what actors?
Hmm. That's a good question. That
Keanu
is a very
Reeves,
good question.
off top. I don't care what he
Keanu
plays.
would have. Keanu would be awesome. Okay, I'll go Keanu.
I don't know who
I
he
had to do.
play, but Keanu. We already got Christian Bale, so I'm not tripping off of that. We got
I
Mahershala Ali supposed to be coming in as Blade, and we got Wesley Snipes. I'm cool there.
I'd say Sylvester Stallone, but I can't think of anybody who he would play. Or he's probably.
Stallone. I can see Stallone. I'm with that. I'm definitely with that. I don't know.
I
He
don't
would
know who
do
he
it.
would be though.
He would have to be
He'd do it,
somebody
but
that's a general, like a general of some sort. Now I could have seen him as the Red Hulk versus Harrison Ford.
that would have been lit. That would have been
Stallone
lit.
being Thunderbolt Ross and turning into Red Hulk would have been
Oh man.
crazy.
That's a missed opportunity. Oh, that's a missed
Complete.
opportunity.
Complete. All right,
This is a good
let me pull up
actor.
a Marvel character list here. Let's pull up our Marvel people here. A
Let
to
me go
Z.
back. I know I have some notes about DC actors playing Marvel characters. What's my notes here?
Oh no,
Ooh,
I'm
yeah,
not
I
even
have my
worried
notes right.
about that. Let me
Yeah,
see.
I'll no, I can use one as an example. That's
Oh,
why
go
I'm
ahead,
just
go
gonna
ahead.
pull
Yeah,
up
yeah,
as an example. Yeah, because I was thinking for I'll use my best one because I was thinking about this for a while, and I know she's gonna give me a little bit of shit for this, but no, I'm not doing him. But honestly, I was thinking about Ben Affleck. But you know who I want him to be?
Who?
The voice for the Watcher. I
Ben
want to
is
be the
the
Watcher.
Watcher's voice?
Yeah,
No,
just as
that's
a
got to be
voiceover.
Morgan Freeman, bro.
But would Morgan do it though? That's the thing.
We're not asking if they would do it. We're talking about who we would want. Think about the
Morgan, yeah,
Watcher
I'm
being
surprised
Morgan
Morgan.
Freeman. Come on.
That Prince money. That Prince money. That Prince money.
I'm just saying, the Watcher being Morgan Freeman, that would go hard. I don't know. I can see Affleck as him. It just doesn't resonate as hard. You know what I mean?
Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah,
That's all I'm saying.
that
For the
man
Watcher, I don't see it resonating as hard. Oh,
would be good. Michael Jai White. Ooh, Michael Jai White would be good.
Michael Josh. See, Michael Josh should have been Luke Cage, straight up.
You know what? I have no argument for me here on that one. No
Like
argument.
he should have been Luke Cage, straight out. That like it looked like him. I'm not gonna. I thought it was him when I first saw like the trailer for it, and then I realized it wasn't. Or him as Black Lightning would have been good too.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good point. Like both of those
Um,
pretty good.
Now a variant on instead of what was his name? Not T'Challa, the other dude, Michael B. Jordan's character.
Killmonger.
Michael, yes, Michael Jai White as Killmonger would have been boss.
I can see it as a variant. I mean, we got variants in the Marvel
There's variants too, right?
cinematic.
But like that would have been boss.
Been cool. That would have been cool.
Who
I'm
else?
trying to think.
Other Marvel character.
No,
Well, I'm
they're
not
already
worried
in
about the
Marvel.
character. I'm talking about let's say the actor. Keanu,
I'm
Michael Jai
surprised
White.
Keanu hasn't gotten an invite yet. I'm surprised Keanu hasn't gotten an
I'm
invite yet.
sure he has. I just don't think they gave him the right character. Like I think they were like, "Yo, if we did it, would you be interested?" And he's like, "It depends on the character." I could see that being his line.
Yeah, Keanu seems like the type of dude like he'll be like, nah, go with someone else. Like Keanu will probably be like a Doctor Strange or something like that, some type of character like that.
Nah, I think he would have to be somebody calm. One, first off, I can see him as Punisher. That's just starting there. Let's just go there. Second,
I
um,
mean, you know what? Seeing John Wick, you got a point there. You know
we got
what? Okay.
Angela Bassett. I'm trying to think of like women too.
What about
Angelina's already in there.
let's I'm only thinking this because she's on the same show with Angela Bassett, but Jennifer Love Hewitt. I'm just throwing out there because I'm thinking of 911. But
Eh,
you know what?
no, Michelle
Damn,
Rodriguez.
she'd
Michelle
probably be a decent
Rodriguez.
rogue. She'd probably be a decent rogue,
I can see her as a
probably.
rogue. I could definitely see her as a rogue. Who else? Her and I don't
The
know if
other actor
Michelle Yo is in the Marvel. She's not in the Marvel yet. I don't think. But Madam Web
is
for
she?
her would be on point.
I think there were rumors that Sony was looking at her for Madam Web. I think I heard a rumor
That
about
would have been
that.
on point. Um,
Um, or Cindy Silk too. She could be Silk too, probably. I'm
I can
thinking of
see
the
that.
right person.
I can see that.
I could
Who
see
else?
that. No, De Niro's already been in MCU. He's already been in MCU, I think.
Who was De Niro?
Wasn't he in? I think he was in the first Captain America movie. I think, unless I'm mixing him up with somebody.
I don't know. Definitely possible.
Well, probably wasn't Captain America. I'm just taking a guess, unless I'm mixing him up with the dude who played Red Skull. I might be mixing him up. I might be mixing him up.
Oh yeah, no, that's not Red Skull. That wasn't Red Skull.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? I say Cuban good in Junior, but I don't know who he would have played these
No.
days. Maybe 10, 15 years ago, maybe, but I don't know who he
Yeah,
would play now.
back then possibly. Trying to think of who else
I think
I'd want. I mean, it would be
you know
cool to
what?
see Denzel in there.
I like so much the Denzel idea of him being like a black Magneto. I love that idea so much because I know he would kill it. But that seemed like a waste of his talents. I know he'd kill as Magneto, but
You know what I would put him as? This is gonna be a stretch. It's gonna be a stretch.
go ahead.
Think Training Day though, right?
Okay.
And then put him as Apocalypse.
God damn it.
I'm just saying. Think Training
You know
Day
what?
and make him Apocalypse.
I do you one better. Say Mr. Sinister.
I can rock with. I can rock with that. No,
You're gonna throw him as an X-Men, but I think I see him more as a Mr. Sinister, personally.
Doom.
I can see
What
him as
about Doom?
Apocalypse though.
What about a Doom? I'll take your Sinister and I'll raise you a Doom.
Shit. That is a Denzel film. God damn it, that is Denzel.
I'll take your
You,
Sinister. I like that, but I will raise you a Doom.
Denzel as Doom, I can see that. I can so see that working. Cause he'd be able to pull off the pettiness.
Off top. I mean, he can always play a variant of Black Panther too. Like that's a given. Especially
If
after
you want to go that way,
Equalizer.
like an older T'Challa from
Uh
another
huh.
universe,
Uh huh.
I can see that.
Or Blue Marvel. That's a whole
That's
nother problem.
that's the obvious. That's the
That's a
obvious
whole nother
answer.
problem.
But then I can see Michael Jai as Blue Marvel too. He's almost
That
old
now
enough to
that
be.
would work. Michael Jai's Blue Marvel, that would go in. That would go in.
Like that's one character outside of X-Men and Fantastic Four. I am waiting to come to the MCU has been Blue Marvel.
Oh
Like
yeah.
that the like I thought I wouldn't be surprised. I know I said I haven't seen the Marvels yet, but I wouldn't if one of the post credit scenes was something Blue Marvel related, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised.
I can feel that.
I mean, it's the Marvels. Who's the only other Marvel? Blue Marvel. Like that would be such a cool Easter egg, but I that would go over so many people's heads. Honestly,
Oh,
that would go.
now this one, we've got Carnage already. Okay, and I love Woody Harrelson. Right, the man can do no wrong
Mhm.
when it comes to his movies. He's an amazing actor. There's only one person who I think would have outdone him as Carnage, and I will
Cool.
die on this hill. It should have been Jim Carrey. It should have been Jim Carrey as Carnage.
One of the many roles, and we can talk about that'd be a whole that's a whole show in and of it. So characters Jim Carrey could have played and he hasn't played.
Yo,
Be his own damn episode. That could be his own damn episode.
yo, I'm telling you,
I
the
can see him
man
pulling
is.
off Carnage too.
Oh yeah, like just think about,
Or
especially a little younger version of him. If he's a little bit younger, especially. But now, yeah,
I throw you another one in there if you're gonna go Carnage. Jerry Training from iCarly. He could probably pull it off too. Because he's just like Jim Carrey, physical actor wise. He's just like him.
see, I wouldn't
I'll
put him
raise
as
you.
Carnage though. I wouldn't put him as Carnage though. I could see him as uh I could see him as a Venom symbiote.
Okay. Yeah, he could probably be one of the symbiote, probably like Toxin or something like that. So
Yeah,
many
like
different.
I could see him as a Venom symbiote. Not as much Carnage. I when I see him, I still see the iCarly version. I think is probably why. So I don't
Yeah.
see him as the crazy. Like I don't see him pulling crazy that well.
Right. I can understand that. Because I see Jim Carrey, I'm like, he's like a young Jim Carrey, but he
Cyclops
never
he
got a
could
chance
do though.
to who?
Cyclops he could do.
Oh, older Cyclops, yeah. Depending on how they never said how old the X-Men or the Fantastic Four are going to be in
Match
this.
him up with Hugh Jackman.
That could be yeah, he could be a variant. That's a good point. That's a good point.
Uh huh.
Because I know, like, with the writers strike being over, I know Marvel's already announced there's only one Marvel movie coming out next year, and that's Deadpool. That's it.
Yeah.
Everything else is getting pushed back to 2025, which I can respect. I don't mind. Like, just give me a quality product. I can wait. I really don't care.
We
Like,
don't need
I'll
anything else
wait.
after Deadpool for next year. I think that'll be enough. Because
Yeah,
it's
and
supposed to
Deadpool will hold
be
down.
his last Deadpool movie, one. And we still don't know if Hugh Jackman is coming back for anything else after that. Because he had swore off Wolverine before this. I don't know if they're going to pull him back for anything else. Because he's getting to that age.
Like, you don't want to see Hugh Jackman as Wolverine old. You
I don't
kind of
mind
did
it
the
because
old.
we got variants everywhere. We got variants everywhere. So I don't mind it at all. But we need a newer Wolverine now.
And we need a newer Deadpool.
Nah. Deadpool is Ryan Reynolds till he dies. I'm sorry.
I mean, if
That's
he
just
just
gonna
was to
have
do
to
the voice,
happen.
if he
He
just,
just has to
they'll
do a
probably just have to.
voice, right? Like it's just a voice. Anybody can play the character.
They might work out some. I wouldn't be surprised. Maybe he does the voice, and
Yeah,
then he's just. I can see that happening. I can see that happening. It depends on what they want to do. Like Marvel, I think is just going to use the writer's strike to just kind of retool, which I don't mind. Like
they might as
I
well. They're not at a
like it's
loss for waiting right now. Like that's the thing.
mm,
And I don't.
like
The
we can
question
wait.
is going to be who is going to try to step up, who's going to rush, right? That's going to be the first thing. Who's going to rush to put something out before to take advantage of the silence? I think that's going to be the big key that we're looking at, right? What
So
network is going to try to push the envelope and create something to put out there that people are now because we now have a void. Basically, between now and 2025, we basically have a media void.
mhm, yep, you're gonna get a low in the superhero. So who's gonna come out? It'll probably be. Ooh, I can see them doing that, and they might be dumb enough to do it too.
Hmm.
Who has Dune? Is Warner Brothers doing Dune or not? Who's in
Dune?
charge of that frame? Yeah.
That's coming out next year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the
Oh,
second
that's
one's
still
already.
coming out
Yeah,
next
that was
year.
already in works because it was almost done. It was pretty much done when the strike
Okay.
started. They just couldn't do anything about releasing it yet. So now that that's over, that's already on for fall. I think next year is when that's supposed to be coming out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, no, that's about right. I would say, yeah, fall. Okay, that sounds about right. Okay, even
Mm-hmm.
Red Strict or not, I would add that coming out in the fall. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Everything I've seen is
Okay.
got. They're talking about fall right now for that.
And I think DC's getting a little gun shy about releasing franchise movies because they were supposed John Cena was supposed to have a movie come out with him in it about Wiley Coyote suing Acme Corporation for fucking up all his items. I was like, see a movie. Why don't you show that?
Wow.
I would watch that.
That would have been hilarious, yo.
I would have watched that. I'm like,
I need a
yo,
Gambit movie. I'm sorry. Forget what you
like,
heard. I need a
and
Gambit
who would you
movie.
play as? But who you gonna get to play as Gambit?
Okay, so there was I don't know what it was. It was something floating around a few years ago that they had somebody do a trailer of Gambit, and the guy that had did it looked good. Don't know who he was, but it looked like it was a good idea. As far as right now, though, I I'm horrible with names of younger actors though. The Raging Cajun.
Who could do that? You probably have to get an unknown actor to do that one. You have to get someone unknown,
It
probably.
probably would be. You know what? Let's check Google here.
Like,
Actors
honestly, I say
who
with
could
all the X Men, you got to get
play
unknown,
Gambit.
except for
Let's just
Storm.
see what happens. 10 actors who should play Gambit. Somebody Screen Rant put this up. They said 10 people that should get it. I don't care about the ad block. They said Josh Holloway.
Let me pull that article up
Uh,
myself.
I don't really know him. He was from Lost, I guess. Francois Arnault. What was he in?
Who would be
He
the
was in
best
Blind
actor to
Spot.
play Keanu?
Scott Eastwood. Nah.
Hold on.
Matt
Let's see,
Bomber.
10 actor.
No. Trevor Jackson. No.
Josh
Lucas
Holloway,
Black, I
no.
could see.
Scott Eastwood, what the hell from? I feel like I should know this dude. No,
Lucas
I don't
Black,
see
I
him
could
as a
see.
Gambit.
Remember Tokyo Drift? The white boy from Tokyo Drift?
Yeah,
Him. I could see that.
I say hell no, no.
You said no?
Scott, he was in no Scott. I'm just looking at the picture now.
Oh,
Oh, he
yeah.
was in the Brothers. Now I remember where I saw him from.
Yeah.
Okay,
Reggie
he's
John
black.
Page. I've not seen his work, so I don't know him like that. But he's got the look. He could pull it. Not Supernatural. Not the
So
dude
far
from
as this,
Supernatural. I could see the dude from Supernatural doing it. Channing Tatum, I would love to
okay,
see do it just because it's Channing Tatum. Like
he's been
McConaughey could
attached to
do.
that from day one.
Oh, of course, McConaughey could definitely do it. He's just old.
Yeah, some people think they might just be too old. Unfortunately,
Yeah,
that
McConaughey
happens
got the
sometimes.
swag. Tatum, he got the swag, but I don't know if he's at the tail end of. It depends on like how old they're trying to make him. Liam Hemsworth is the same. That's like saying Channing Tatum to me.
Yeah, certain people are just too old for the role now. Like it's like,
So
damn,
yeah, it's probably
like
gonna have to be somebody they pull out the woodwork.
probably someone we don't expect either. I know some people have
Oh,
been
of
wanting.
course.
I think if out of all the X Men, I would say keep them unknown except for Storm and I think Wolverine. Those probably the only two you're gonna probably need established actors. Everybody else, I would do unknown actors for
No,
X Men.
I would pull. I would pull if they're redoing the X Men. I would pull all new people. If they're
Just start
bringing
from
them back
scratch with
young,
everybody.
if they're bringing them back young, right? Which means we no more Hugh Jackman, right? If we're bringing them back young, start it over, reset.
I agree.
You know what I mean? We will wipe that whole. Do you know what happens with toads when they get struck by lightning? We're gonna erase that from our memory.
Mm-hmm.
I need a whole new situation. Whole new situation.
Honestly, I know I had mentioned this on the podcast, but I was saying in the Lex Peter Parker movie, he meets Iceman and Cyclops. I've said that before. Like, you should meet Bobby
The
Drake
Spider
and Cobble.
Friends
MCU,
would be great.
and I think that's how you do it. You have Iceman. He meets Iceman, and then Iceman introduces Cyclops to him. Like, oh, this is my friend Scott,
So he would have to
and
be
he's like, what's wrong
Firestar though
with?
to do that too. You got to bring his Firestar.
Yeah, yeah.
So
That's what I would use Spider Man to introduce those three. But those who know their X Men are, we're gonna like,
yeah,
oh, yeah,
but now so here's the thing that would truly mean that they are restarting the X Men universe because if Peter is being introduced to Bobby, Bobby has to be like the what do they call the people who help the teacher out? Uh,
Jade,
yeah, the teacher aide. He would
TA,
have to be like a graduate student teacher aide. He would have to be because of the age
okay,
range, right? Bobby was
right,
Bobby was always older. That allows them to put Jubilee back to his age, back to Spider's age, because she was Parker's age. The first movie, if you
okay.
remember that first movie, they had Bobby Drake, Jubilee, and Pyro all in the same classroom. They were not the same age.
That made no sense. Now that you said that, I forgot about
They
that. That made
made
no damn
Gambit
sense.
older than all of them and Rogue younger than all of them.
Who greenlit that? They need to be smacked.
Like, so if they do this, it gives them a chance to literally put everything back in the right order if they decide to go that route.
Or if you do it, damn, you know what they should do? They should just emulate X Men Evolution. I hate to say it like that. The cartoon. Let's do it
Ooh,
that way.
I don't think they're gonna do that.
I mean, the only older movies would be Wolverine and Storm.
Nah, because then you're not even bringing the old ones back. You're not even bringing the originals in at that point.
Okay,
That's the only thing I would say. The
it
only
depends.
reason I would say that because if we've got Apocalypse on the map already. They technically brought in a young Storm, right?
Mhm.
If they were to redo it, but if you think about where things are right now, Tony and Banner, no, I mean, yeah, they're kind of hit. I'm gonna be honest. They're gonna have to reset the
It
ages on
depends.
everybody anyway, because Banner, Tony, the entire Avengers team is the same age as the X Men team.
Oh shit, you're right. Damn. Okay. Oh,
So
we
Parker
have to
being
pull
the
some
youngest of the
shenanigans.
group is true, but that means you're bringing in, like you said, this X Men Evolution team in. Now, if we're talking X Factor, that's something we can do because we have Deadpool. Colossus is already older in the Deadpool series. Wolverine's also older. So, I mean, they would have to bring in an older variant of the other X Men. You know what I mean? But
And
that's about the extent of it, bruh.
like, I would keep the X Men, at least the main X Men, closer to Spider Man's age. That's what I would do. Wolverine's always going to be older no matter what you do. Like, Wolverine, Magneto, and Professor, they're always going to be the older ones, no matter what you say. Those saber suits in there too. Those are going to be the four
Yeah,
old ones, no
yeah.
matter what you do.
True.
Wolverine was yeah, Wolverine was hinted at in She-Hulk. I know people didn't like that series, but they did have a couple of Wolverine Easter eggs in there. So, a Wolverine is in the MCU. We just haven't met him yet.
Right. A Wolverine is there. Right. We just don't know how they're going to play it.
My thing was, my thing was, and I know I said this countless times. Instead of having, since Peter does is not part of the Avengers, I would say have Peter found the champions, and he ends up meeting Scott. I know I said that before in the podcast. You have him meet Scott, but he doesn't know Scott's an X Men. What you try to do is have like the X Men kind of infiltrate the teams that they're normally also associated with. That's what I would kind of do.
Hmm.
So you have Scott trailing Peter, but then you throw Iceman, then you Spider Man Amazing Friends, and it's like the X-Men are keeping an eye on Spider-Man. That's what it
See,
looks
that's what I'm
like.
saying.
They're keeping an eye on.
The only reason I'd be against that is because the X Men were always one step ahead of everybody else, except for the Brotherhood and the Spades. What are they called? The Table, the Solitaire Group. I forget their
Hellfire
name.
Club.
Yes, Hellfire Club. Other than them, those were the only two groups that were ever ahead of the X Men as far as recruitment goes, right? And it was only by a sliver. But they were the only ones that were ever actually ahead, and that was usually because they went after one. X Men would go after one person, Brotherhood would go after somebody else, and then X Men would go after that other person after the fact, type deal.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so with going with what you're saying, I could see Parker trying to find Pete, not Parker, Scott trying to find Peter to recruit, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I see what you're going. And then you can kind of keep it where he doesn't know Bobby and Scott effects.
Right.
You
Now
can
they
go
wouldn't
that way
he
too.
wouldn't know that part, and he wouldn't know it maybe that maybe Scott sees that, or Bobby knows he's got to weigh in, because you know how Bobby is. Bobby got to weigh in,
Mm-hmm.
so he's gonna try to talk to Peter to get him to come to the academy. You know what I mean? Because Spidey did join one of their teams eventually. It was short term, but he
So
did join one of their teams.
he joined the Future Foundation with the Fantastic Four.
Uh-huh.
He joined the Future Foundation. The
So
way I'm
that gives
thinking,
you Torch and everybody else, and we already need a new Fantastic Four. So, although
yeah, like I said,
I
I was.
liked the guy that they had as Richards in the last one, not the
Yeah, he was
MCU,
cool.
the last Fantastic Four movie. I liked him.
The one that was in WandaVision. No, not WandaVision. What's the name of the show?
No, the one that was in
Multiverse of
Fantastic
Madness.
Four with Michael B. Jordan.
Oh, I never saw that movie, so I wouldn't
Yeah,
know.
that Fantastic Four. Actually, I liked that Fantastic Four. I did. I thought the guy that they got to play Doom was good. I thought the guy that got to play Richards was good. Michael B as Hothead, okay.
I wanna have him as Johnny, to be quite
Yeah,
honest. I
it's
see what
not
they were
that's
trying
not
to
his
do.
role. Sue Storm, I think they could have got a better Sue Storm as well. But the guy the person, I forget his name, but the guy who they got to do Mr. Fantastic, I thought was cool. I thought he did a good job.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know my idea. Yeah, but then if you use, it's like you should use Spider-Man to introduce the X-Men and Fantastic Four. That just makes too much sense. I know I said this on the podcast previously, like maybe having Bobby, Peter, and Johnny as roommates. I know that's not going to work because I didn't know he was always. I didn't know. So you said that, Panda. I didn't know that Bobby was supposed to be older than him. I didn't know that. So
Yeah, yeah.
thank
I
you
mean,
for
think
putting
about
that.
it. Bobby is one of the originals. He's an OG.
Yeah, so he would be a TA. You're right. He would probably be a TA
Right. He'd be like a
or
TA
maybe a
for him.
R
And then if
or an
Bobby
RA.
and well, and see, it really depends on your. As that's the thing, it depends on your timeline that you're going off of too, right? Because in Amazing Spider Friends, they were all the same age. If we're going off
True.
Amazing Spider Friends, but then if we go off of like, you know what? Hold up a minute. Let's see here. Uh,
I mean, Spider-Man is amazing. Not many people know that show, so you could actually pull it off as like a clever Easter egg, and most people it will fly over a lot of people's heads. But then you would throw, damn, that would
Peter
be no.
Parker,
You want
18. Johnny Storm. No, Storm is 18. Parker's 15. So, da-da-da-da.
he would have to be a sophomore. Then if you're going to do that, he has to be at least a sophomore.
Let me see if we can compare.
He'd be 19 because he had that Peter at least 19, so he has to be at least a sophomore.
Nah.
And the way I would do the X-Men is they're around, but we don't know. Those who know their normal names will figure it out. Like, oh, that's such and such, or oh, that's such and such. Most people know Storm's name, so you can't get away with that. You would have to come up with a fake. You almost would have to do what they did with Michelle Rodriguez character. You almost would have to pull that. You would have to pull that with Storm.
Yeah.
Like the people know Aurora, like, oh, that's Storm. You
Yeah, you say
cannot
Aurora, it's a
be that.
wrap. Right.
As soon as you say that word, like, oh, Scott's a generic name, but most people know. Those who know, like, it's one of those. If you know the comics, you can get away with it. I forget what Starfire's real name is. I can't remember off the top of my. I know they said it in Spider-Man: Amazing Friends. I can't remember her name off the top of my head. But actually, if you want to go another direction, instead of Starfire, damn, I like this idea. Okay, I'll throw you one better. Swap Starfire out for Ironheart.
No.
So yeah,
See,
no,
now, see, that's the thing. If we're going, that's you could do it. Yes,
I can see you
you
could
could do
probably
it.
swap it.
Yes,
I can see someone swapping those two,
but that's only if they're
but I
worried
can see,
about matching ages. That's the problem. That's going to be
yeah.
the problem. If they're worried about keeping to any type of actual, which I don't think they are at this point. I'm gonna be honest, because the fact that they brought in the variants throws everything to the wind. So it doesn't matter who, when, where, how, or why they bring somebody in at this point. They can just throw somebody in there, which I think that was probably why they did it. To be 100% honest,
They wanted to test the waters with it. That's why they did it most of us. They were testing the waters with that.
but it worked, and now that allows them to pull any and everybody from no matter how old they are into any universe.
I mean, hell, even the Flash movie kind of did that with Michael Keaton Batman. You kind of did that. Damn, they
Yeah,
did do that. Test the waters. God damn.
yeah, yeah.
Damn.
So
Yep.
at this point, meh, is what it is, you know.
It is.
But
We'll see. We'll see what comes out. But I mean, there's potential. There's ideas. There's ways to do it. As we just been discussing, there are ways to do it. It's just depends on how you want to do it. That's the key. That's the
mm-hmm.
key factor there. Honestly, I would just subtly introduce different actors, but don't. And you can kind of figure out their X Men, but keep it as an Easter egg, so that with those who know, and those who are oblivious or don't know much about comics, they're not going to figure it out.
Right, right.
That's the way I would do it. That's why I would like the next Spider-Man. I would have at least an X-Men in there, like whether it's Bobby or Scott or even Starfire. Shit, you can even throw, like you said, you can throw Jubilee in there if you wanted to be like that, or even or throw Johnny Storm in there. Like you don't know he's Johnny Storm yet until so hey yo Johnny, and you're like, oh shit, that's Johnny Storm.
Yeah. Now, if they did
Or
that,
if
that'd be a whole situation. Although
or
I would like them to bring Shang Chi into something, into some more stuff.
yeah, like he's a good actor. He's a cool guy. So I hope that we see more of him too. So he's cool. He's cool people.
Yeah.
It just depends if you're gonna go new Avengers, old Avengers. Like I said, I know I've championed for the champions. I'm not gonna even go back to that right now. I'm not gonna even go there, but I don't know. It depends on what they want to do. If they want to use this time to kind of course reset, that's fine. But I'm gonna say something I thought I would never say on air or online on Facebook, and I can't believe I'm about to say this. Concerning how Marvel's phases went, I can't believe I'm about to say this, but the maybe the people who said recast T'Challa was right, and I can't believe I'm fucking saying this. I think they might be right.
Why you say that? I mean, I agree. He should have been recast, but why you say that?
My mind's been changed because seeing how Marvel's fumbled and then remembering that the three pillars were supposed to be Black Panther, Spider Man, and Captain Marvel. I'm starting to see like not having T'Challa hurted them more than I think even people who were like, I don't think we can recast. I didn't think it would hurt as much not having a Black Panther as much as it did.
That's because they threw everything into that movie. Think about it. They plugged it into Avengers in like into Winter Soldier, right? They plugged it in there. They made sure that it was a massive part of Avengers Endgame, right? Then they planned for it to be right after the fact. My thing is this: there is no possible way that nobody at that studio knew about that man's condition. None.
Nope.
Do you get what I'm
There would have been
saying?
a contingency plan. There would have been a
There
contingency
should
plan if
have
that was the
been.
case.
There should have been. They were thinking money. They were thinking, oh, he just put out 6 movies in 6 years. Pause. Most other artists are not doing that. Most other actors are not doing that. Think about it. I think it was like a 10 year
Maybe.
span. He put out 6 movies in 10 years, though.
Mm-hmm.
Back to back to back to back to back. All high quality.
And with his physical condition the way it was, like
Right.
that's
Exactly.
like I seen like not having it like I didn't it's as I think recently it's just took me like I hate to admit they were right because I thought I thought maybe it would be fine. I mean, in the comic Shuri took over for T'Challa anyways. I'm like you could just kind of I'm like different verse different. I'm always someone I'm a different verse different rules type of guy. So like just because it doesn't have to be the same borrow a quote from Spider Verse, a canon event, everything has to happen the same way in every universe. Like I'm not that type of guy. Like I'm not that type of guy. Like Uncle Ben has to die every time. Or Aunt May has to die every time,
But that's the
or
thing.
I don't.
In order to keep a time as a writer, think of it from a writer's point of view. In order to keep a character with some form of semblance across multiple timelines, there have to be key aspects that happen no matter what.
Yeah, like Batman has to lose his parents.
You know what I'm saying?
Hulk has
Now,
to go
when
save
it
the kid for the
happens,
nuclear bomb.
who knows, right? But Spider-Man has to get bit by a spider, or he can't be Spider-Man.
True,
You get what I'm saying?
that is true.
That it has to happen at some point. He has to lose someone close to him to push him over the edge, because no matter what, he still or she is still the same mentality and soul are the same. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
The circumstances and how it dictates itself may differ. Thinking like Spider-Man Noir, right? How he shows it may
Right.
differ, right? But the act of why he decided to show that way is the same. He lost X
Mm-hmm.
person. You know, like somebody might have lost
True.
Aunt May, somebody might have lost Uncle Ben, somebody might both lost both, somebody might have never had both in the first place, right? Somebody might have actually had their dad. One Peter might have actually had their dad growing up, lost Uncle Ben and them early, and then lost their dad after the fact.
That's pretty much a Terry McGinnis type of situation there. If
Right.
that's the case.
But they gotta go. Otherwise,
Somebody
it's
you gotta
not the
have.
same person's timeline.
And funny enough, I think that's what Spider Verse was trying to do, but we still don't get the second part of the movie, so we can't. I think that's what they were trying to show. Like to be a Spider Man, certain things just have to happen.
They gotta happen.
But
Right.
no matter how you change it, like shoot, go to anime. Shit, Goku hasn't hit his head when he lands on Earth. Shit. Um, shoot,
Right.
Luffy has to eat the gum gum fruit.
Is certain things they have to transpire. It just is what it is. So otherwise
Madara
that's
can't be
not that person.
Hokage. That's a whole nother. I've been down too many what if scenarios lately. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, certain things have to happen. Like gave some great examples. Like shoot,
Right. So that's all. That's all. That's all it is. It's just unfortunately, as the writer, you gotta do that to yourself. Otherwise, Spider-Man turns into Wolverine.
yep. Or you know what's funny enough? What about Marvel just did this? I don't know if it was this year or last year. Remember how that series of comics were like, what if Miles Morales became XYZ character? Like, what if he became Wolverine? What if he became
No, I didn't see that.
Punisher?
That's interesting though.
Hold on, let me find the link for you. Yeah, these just came out. I want to say either last year or last summer. It was what if Miles Morales became. Hold on, let me find the. Yeah, it was a series of comics. Like he became Thor, Wolverine.
Hmm.
Hold on, let me find the book. See it. Yeah, it was like a whole what if miniseries. Like he became, what if he became Wolverine, Captain America, the Hulk, Thor. When did these come out? I'm trying to see when they came out. Oh, 2 years. Yeah, last year. They came out last summer.
Hmm.
The best out of the story, I think which one was kind of like the Thor one's kind of messed up a little bit. It was a little the person who wrote it kind of sucked.
Mm.
They made it too stereotypical black. But the best one was when he became Wolverine. Hold on, I'm gonna send you the link in the. Let's see if I can send it to you in the Discord chatter. Hold on.
It's fine. I'll get it from you later in the Facebook group.
Okay, I'll just post it
Go
in
back
there.
and look
But
through it.
yeah, it came out last summer. It's like a bunch of one-off stories. Like, what if he became Thor? What if he? Yeah, the Thor one was the one that was a little. It was they had a white guy writing the Thor story, but they made Asgard more hoodish. That's probably the best way I can describe it.
Right.
And it comes off like ew. That's the best way I can describe it. Just ew. Like,
Gotcha.
why did you get this guy to write this story? You should have gotten a person of color. If you were going to go that route, have a person of color do that story.
Gotcha.
But the Wolverine one I remember hearing was very good. Was very good. That's probably the best one because it took
Hmm.
place in the '70s. So it's like Miles in the '70s,
Oh wow.
which was pretty cool.
No, that'd have been interesting.
Like,
That definitely would have been interesting. Well, shoot. Well, we actually got through. I didn't think we were going to get the full time frame, but we did. So,
yeah. Hey, it's
um,
me. I can
oh, we
ramble.
can go
Trust me,
all
I know how
day.
to.
Yeah, we can go all day if we needed to. Trust me. But I think we got a couple. What do we have? We had two things we had pinned for the group as far as group
Okay.
conversations that are kind of come up on the next show. Hopefully, so we'll get to those then. I don't want to do too much now because we'll wait for
Yeah,
those.
and then
Well, let me see what one of them was here. Give me just a moment. We had
I was going back to look. Oh, yeah, we had a bunch of black
uh
excellence. That's right.
PBS tier list. We definitely had to talk about that one.
Yeah, we need vocab and J for that one.
Yeah.
But
What else?
happy
Oh,
birthday to Zoro. Zoro's birthday is tomorrow, so I'll just throw
Joy's
that
birthday
out
is
there.
tomorrow.
So we have one little piece of One Piece today. That's it. Happy
Empire
birthday,
State
Zoro.
Building for the 30th anniversary of Wu Tang. I definitely want to have them on the show
Wu
when we
Tang
start
for life.
talking, breaking that down.
Yeah,
Um, Couple of sports pieces. I know we wanted to wait for them for.
yeah. Especially with Oakland Raiders doing what they doing. I didn't even real. I'm surprised that caught me off. I'm like, oh shit, I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, yeah.
So shout out to the Oakland Raiders. If you know, you know. We'll say that for next week.
And we
If
had
you
a
know, you
couple of
know.
verses that we needed to talk about as well. So,
Yeah, and then I'll just say this because I finished Attack on Titan. I've literally binged that all. I've binged the last season in a week, and I gotta
yeah.
say, I'll say this to end off the show. When they did the twist with Aaron, I was like, I don't know if they're gonna stick the landing, and they stick the landing. They stuck the landing. I was surprised. I
Hmm.
know the ending was controversial, and I think I know why because it didn't go the way I think a lot of people thought it was gonna go.
Uh huh.
I think it's pretty much just another Death Note situation. Like if you thought Light was gonna win at the end of Death
Uh,
Note, that's the best parallel I can say. If you thought Light was gonna win at the end of Death Note, you're gonna be disappointed with the Attack on Titan ending. I'll leave it at that.
Dang, that's
But
just wrong. That's just
Trust me, when I first was reading Death Note, I thought Light was gonna win. So shit, I know that disappointed. I was like,
ugh.
damn, I thought he was gonna win
Yeah,
because he
yeah,
pretty much
yeah.
played the perfect game and
I don't know if I can
he
like
fumbled the ball.
I haven't watched the second one yet. The second ending, I should say, of of AOT. Um, I will be honest. The last, the first ending that it had, um, I was a bit butthurt about it. Not gonna front. And then on top of that, the fact that they left it where they did, part of me is like, you know what? I don't even care anymore. But I will eventually get around to it. I'm also backlogged right now. Because I still got to finish
That's
Thousand
it.
Year Blood arc from Bleach 2. So,
I had a I know One Piece. I kind of started the Zoe arc, but I think I'm going to catch up with Kenshin, which I didn't know was still going. Kenshin is still going, and Doctor Stone. I got to catch up with those two. I've been trying to finish up Attack on Titan.
mm-hmm.
But like I said, the way in the I'll give Attack on Titan. I want to say I want to give it an 8. I want to give it a 9, but honestly, if they we'd have gotten this ending maybe 5-6 years ago, I would give it a 9. But delays and everything, I gotta give it an 8. I gotta take off for that. I'm sorry, I hate to do that, but I gotta take off for it because we'll end the show with this. I thought Attack on Titan was gonna do what Full Metal Alchemist originally, get the perfect ending. You have the anime and manga finish up at around the same time, and it didn't happen. And I had to take
Yeah,
off
but
for that because
you
I'm
can't
just
let like that. That was a once, maybe twice in a lifetime thing, man. Like you can't hold that against them for that one.
I know, like I said, I'm taking a hat. Like I said, it should be a 9, but I'm giving it an 8. Like that's part of why I'm getting it an 8. The other part is I just felt like with all the studio delays and everything, like I can see why people didn't like the ending, and I
Mm-hmm.
get it, I can respect it. But like I said, it's just partly that ending, and people were like, because I'm like, what was the big deal with the ending? Like, and I'm like, yeah, niggas want to be anarchists, and then you get the anarchists in it. So I'm like, all right, fine, I get it, I get it.
Wow.
You want to watch the world burn? I get it. Like, trust me, Death Note.
Yeah.
I was Team Light the entire way. I was Team Light the entire way. So I get it. I get it. I was butthurt too, seeing him go out like a little bitch. To quote my fiance, so he did go out like a little bitch. But
He did go out pretty bad. I'm not even gonna front. He did. He
I
did.
mean, Aaron didn't go out like that. But one interesting parallel I heard someone make with the ending of Attack on Titan is Aaron tried to be Lelouch, but he wasn't Lelouch. I was
Yeah, no,
like,
nobody's Lelouch. First and foremost, let's just start there. Like nobody is Lelouch. Like, yeah, nah.
I
Yeah,
saw
that you
one
gotta have
thing
a
that the
special.
twist.
You gotta be a special kind of person to be him. If
That's
you've
what I
not
was scared
seen
about the
Code
twist when they
Geass,
did the.
individuals, if you the Lelouch is from Code Geass. If you've not seen that show, it's along the lines of Death Note, not as Death Notey, uh, partial mecha, him trying to take over the world for good reasons. You should definitely give it a watch. But he's one of the smartest
Definitely give.
protagonists out there. Yeah, yeah.
And like I thought that's what I was like, okay, we're going Code Geass or we're going Death Note, and then I was like, oh, we're going like a somewhere in the middle. I was like, oh, depending on where you thought that was gonna go, I can see why people were upset with the ending. I get it, and I seen the ending, anime ending. I get it. I
Mm-hmm.
told, and by the grace of the good Lord Jesus Christ, I dodged all ending. I didn't know nothing about the ending of Attack on Titan.
Oh
I
wow.
dodged all spoilers,
Well, that's
which
good.
wasn't easy. But the only other, I'll say this right now, and then we'll probably just finish up the show here. You get that perfect ending I just talked about. You know who's gonna pull it off. I'm gonna say this right now because I know it's probably gonna happen. It's
Mm-hmm.
gonna be One Piece. One Piece is gonna end the manga and anime within a month of each other. I'll put that out right
I
now on
pray
Bible.
he just had his first hiccup in releasing stuff. He was only able to get half of this last chapter out, and so people are starting to worry that his health is maybe kicking in. So we're hoping he doesn't allow that to happen, and we don't get another Hunter x Hunter situation because that would be horrible.
That would be heartbreaking. Like,
That
even
would
if I
be,
wasn't a One Piece fan,
yeah,
even if I wasn't watching it, that would be
just for him
heartbreaking to
in
me.
general. But yes, for the fandom also. But for him in general, like we don't need to lose any more mangaka. We don't. No more writers
Yeah,
need to
we don't need
be
another.
damaging their body and their mental state for us to enjoy ourselves. That does not need to transpire. Um,
Yeah, we don't need another Berserk or High School of the Dead. We don't
we
need that.
don't.
We definitely don't need
We do not. We don't need another. We don't need another Chadwick Bossman. We don't. We don't need no more of that. I need y'all to take care of yourself
that. Mm-hmm.
for real. For real. Anyway,
And I know yeah, I know fiance been bugging me to get a doctor. I might just have her just pick a doctor for me because I can't find anybody I like, and I know how picky I am. Might as well just let the white do it.
oh, there you go. There you go. Well, thank you all for swinging by. Hope y'all appreciated it. We appreciated y'all. We'll be back next week. It'll either be Thursday or Friday. Schedules have been kind of up in the air. It's Halloween holiday season for everybody, so it'll either be Thursday
Mm-hmm.
or Friday. So just keep an eye out, and we'll be here 6 to 8. Y'all know where to catch us. We'll holler at y'all later. Peace.